Are you looking to try intermittent fasting and you're not sure how to get started? Are you wondering if intermittent fasting can help with weight loss or the menopausal weight gain that can happen? Well, I'm so excited for this episode today. So this is part 3. So make sure that you've listened to part 1 where I went over some risks and cautions, and part 2 where I talk about the benefits. But today we're going to jump into the nitty-gritty of it, and I'm going to give you guys some tips on how you can actually get started with intermittent fasting. Hi friends, and welcome to the Healthy Beyond 40 show. I'm MIchele, mom of 4 and military wife. I have my doctorate in physical therapy, and I'm an online personal trainer, health coach, and yoga teacher. Do you wish that you had more energy and could get into shape? Do you feel like you're struggling to lose weight? Maybe you've tried a diet before, but it just wasn't sustainable, and now you don't know how to get started. We're going to look at health holistically here, and most importantly, keep things simple and quick. If you're ready to develop healthier habits, exercise consistently, and lose weight sustainably without long workouts or following strict diets, then you're in the right place. In this podcast, I bring together my expertise with real life strategies. No magic pill here, so lace up those shoes and get moving. I'm so excited to dive into this today and give you guys some practical tips if you're looking to get started with fasting. But before we start, I just want to put the disclaimer that you should check with your healthcare provider before starting. Make sure that your body is good and that you'll be okay doing this. I am just giving you information. I am not your healthcare provider or your health coach on this podcast. So I'm going to give you guys 8 tips to get started today. So tip number 1 is to start gradually. So it goes back to the other episode where I talked about caution and the way our gallbladder reacts. So there's these different organs and processes in our body. So it's always better to start slowly. So start with a shorter fasting period. So I want you to look at what a typical fast is for you currently. So maybe you stop eating at 9 o'clock at night and then you have breakfast at 7. So you're at a 10-hour fasting window. So you would want to try to gradually increase that. So maybe you stop eating at 8 o'clock. Maybe move that up to 7 o'clock. So really starting with a 12-hour fasting window is good. And most people, even kids, can do a 12-hour fasting window. It really gives our body time to do the rest and digest and all those different things that need to happen in our body. And I also want you to keep in mind that if you're making your fasting period too long, 24 hours, 36 hours, it could put your body into starvation mode. And it might start storing fat instead of burning it. And you might get those different hunger hormones kicked up and where you just feel famished and starving after, like you need to do something. So keep that in mind and really pay attention to your body. So start slow here. Tip number 2 is to eat nutrient-dense foods. So whole, real foods so that your body is getting lots of nutrition. So it's getting vitamins, minerals, micronutrients, all these things that are really important to our body, that we're getting that during our eating window so our body can work like it needs to. So our hormones are functioning well. So we want plenty of fruits, vegetables, protein, healthy fats. And a great way to do this is with a smoothie. So I have 5 free smoothie recipes for you guys. You can check the link down below. But I love having a smoothie because you can get your healthy fat, your protein in it, your fruits and veggies. You can add extra things like chia seeds, the protein powders, and it's a real good way to have a nutrient-dense food. So tip number 3 is to stay hydrated during those fasting periods. So making sure that you're still drinking water. You can drink herbal tea. You don't want anything with calories or fake sweeteners, but making sure that you are staying hydrated and getting enough water because our body needs that water to function. It needs to flush out different things, and we do that through water. And as I also work with clients, one of the things we would even start working on before we got to fasting is to be mindful of hunger cues and really learning when we're hungry and when we're full. So especially if you're doing longer fasting periods, you may experience hunger pains, but if you're feeling lightheaded, dizzy, or way overly hungry, you might need to break your fast. So maybe you're not working your way up slowly enough. So that is why when you start more gradually with fasting, you're going to have less side effects. But before you even do this, you want to make sure that you can tune into your body, know what hunger is, know what fullness is. And I love working on this with my clients because, again, health is more than just weight loss. So we want to do things the right way. My fifth tip here is to make your eating window earlier in the day. So we don't want that eating window to come right before bed. So it sort of goes back to that benefit of sleep. So we sort of want to cut ourselves off from eating before we go to bed and have a little bit of window there so that our body can really go into that rest and digest and can really sleep well. So you don't want to have that eating window go right up to your bedtime where you're eating a lot and then you're trying to go to sleep. So tip number 6 is choose a fasting method that works for you. So there's so many different methods here that you really want to pick something that feels good and can sort of fit your lifestyle. So if doing those extreme fastings aren't for you, then don't do that. And it really goes back to the idea of starting gradually when you want to fast. And tip number 7 is don't overcompensate. So it goes back to this idea of eating healthy and making sure we're getting enough nutrients. So when it is time to break your fast, you don't want to overcompensate by eating way too much or eating unhealthy food. So we really want to stick to our normal eating habits, or maybe we're working on improving those and getting more nutrient dense foods. So when it's time to break that fast, you have to have a plan for what you are going to eat. So you really want to plan that out. You want to make sure that you've gone to the grocery store, you have what you need, and you're really focused on these nutrient dense foods that are going to fuel your body, because our body needs energies. It needs the vitamins and minerals. It does need calories. So it needs these different things to function. So one of my favorite things right now is Organifi's products, and I love having their green juice in the morning because it gives me a little bit of energy. I cannot tolerate caffeine, and the green juice only has like 3 milligrams, very little caffeine, but it gives me enough energy because it has these adaptive herbs in them that can really help to support my body. And then I love winding the day down with the Organifi Gold because it is a way to calm my nervous system and relieve some of that stress. And it creates a really nice bedtime routine. So if you guys are looking for any supplements to increase your energy or to wind down your day and really give your body this boost of nutrients, then check out Organifi's products. You can save 20% with the link down below and just use the code HEALTHY20. So tip number 8 is to be patient with intermittent fasting. It's not a quick fix, and especially if we're starting gradually and really finding the sustainable way to get healthy. So we don't want to do this extreme fasting for weeks or maybe months and then not be able to stick with it and gain all that weight back and lose all those benefits. So start slowly with it and see what happens to your body. Make sure that you're listening to your body and really adapting as things come up. But intermittent fasting can really be a great tool to use if you need something a little extra. So I love using this with clients, and I've used it recently with one of my clients who was going into that menopause phase, and she didn't have a ton of weight to lose, but she wanted to lose some extra weight. So we really focused on that nutrient density first, and then we added fasting, and she saw results pretty quickly with it. So she started with that 16-8 window. And pretty quickly, she was able to lose weight, even though she particularly didn't have a lot of weight to lose. But we made sure to do it in a way that was very systematic and also focus on all these other things. So we don't want to just do intermittent fasting and that is all. We want to make sure that we are eating healthy, that we're hydrating, that we're getting the nutrients. Are we getting enough protein? Are we getting enough fruits and vegetables and fibers and all these other things to think about? So if you guys have any questions about fasting or wondering what it could like for you, I urge you to just set up a free call with me. I love to do free health coaching calls and hear about your goals and struggles and really help people to find that next step that they need to do. Because maybe it's not fasting, maybe it is. Maybe you need to work on some other pieces first and really get a strong foundation before you try something like this. And sometimes people will even find once they get a strong foundation of other healthy eating habits that they don't even need to do fasting. And it goes back to that idea of doing the least restrictive thing for yourself. Like, let's make life easier. Maybe you don't need to do fasting. Maybe you just need to change some other habits. So really look at your health as a whole here, guys. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the series about intermittent fasting. I would love to hear your thoughts. So feel free to post in my Facebook group. The link will be down below, what your takeaways are or any questions that you have. So I would love to hear from you guys. Friends, I hope this episode empowered and inspired you to take one more step forward in your health. The number one way you can thank me is to just leave a quick review. Not only does this help the podcast to grow, but I love hearing the positive impact this show has had in your life. Our world doesn't make it easy to be healthy, so having the right community around you is key. So join my free, private Facebook group. The link is down below. Change is hard, but believe me, my friend, with the right tools and support, you can do this.